The world needs B2K.
B2K's breakup was a huge shock to their fans.
Boys for Life Tour.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
Memphis. Monday Night Raw returns with non-stop action, unmatched energy, and the superstars you love.
We don't get mad, we get even. We don't go home till we beat them. This is our time, we ain't leaving. Give me the crown undefeated.
Witness the moments you'll never forget. Monday Night Raw, Memphis. Monday, February 16th. Tickets and ringsider packages on sale next Friday.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
John Roser is back in Memphis producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you get through the day best you can. For basketball, because we got it tonight. Grizzlies are at the Target Center playing the Timberwolves. 7 o'clock tip. We'll get into it momentarily. First, so quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. The next segment, about 20 minutes. Chris Vernon is going to join me. He, of course, is the host of the Chris Vernon Show, weekdays noon. Grind City Media. He'll pop in studio, and I'll talk to him about Grizzlies Timberwolves tonight, of course, but also NBA Cup last night out in Las Vegas. The New York Knicks defeat Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. They got themselves a trophy. They might hang themselves a banner. I'll talk to Chris Vernon about it. He'll join me in the next segment. Finish talking to Vernon, take a break, come back. Do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Memphis Vandy is tonight inside FedEx Forum. Tigers are hosting an undefeated and top 10 KenPom team. They're underdogs at home. I'll get you ready for it. We'll do that in about 40 minutes. Final score, Tennessee 83, Louisville 62. Bennett yesterday picked the Cardinals to win in Knoxville. That didn't go his way, perhaps because Michael Brown, Louisville's 5-star point guard, he was sidelined with a lower back injury. We'll talk a little college basketball. We'll do that in the next in the third segment. The Indiana Trophy case, it continues to fill up. Curt Cignetti is the AP Coach of the Year for the second straight year. This comes just a few days after the quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, wins the Heisman Trophy. We'll celebrate that for the Hoosiers. We'll do that a little later on in the show. The Dolphins are reportedly considering a quarterback change. I'll tell you what Mike McDaniel said about Tua. We'll do that in the third segment. And pound-for-pound boxing king Terrence Crawford, he says he's retiring from the sport. Will he really do it? Will we never watch him box again? He's only 38 years old. I'll ask Roser that question. We'll do it during a segment we call 5 more things you need to know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carryout, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because game 27 of a scheduled 82, it is set for tonight in Minneapolis. Grizz Timberwolves inside the Target Center. Tip is scheduled for 7 o'clock. You can watch it on the FanDuel Sports Network with Pete, Brevin, and Rob. You can also see it on NBA TV. The Grizzlies are listed as 7.5-point underdogs in the status report. It is worthy of our attention. Zach Edey and all of the usual names, they are out for reasons that we've been over already. But Cam Spencer also out, personal reasons, and Ja Morant, Brandon Clarke are questionable for different reasons. Ja has a left ankle sprain that he suffered in the final minutes against the Clippers the other night. Brandon, of course, recovering from right knee surgery, but is by definition closer today than he's ever been to making his season debut at some point. John Roser, it's good to see you on this Wednesday morning. Thanks for being here. Congrats on the engagement. Are we going to watch Ja Morant play basketball tonight or not really?
I would lean towards no. And look, questionable usually means you play, but my guessing is like they don't play again. What, Saturday night, right? Like Saturday nights when they play again. So they've always leaned on. You give them a couple of days. Like they did this. I think they thought maybe he could have played in that Sunday home game against Portland. And then he didn't play in the Sunday home game against Portland because you didn't play again until Friday against Utah. So you just give a couple more days of rest, of staying off of it, being able to get home, keep it elevated. So my guess is going to be no, although questionable usually means you play.
That's what I would assume as well. If it's an ankle that gets you on the status report and you've got some days between this game and the next game, maybe take those days. They're beneficial, but I'll let the training staff and coaching staff in front office make that decision. Either way, the Grizzlies are, again, 7.5-point underdogs tonight and perhaps going to be playing once again without the franchise point guard. The interesting thing, I think, is that Cam Spencer, after being on one of the great runs in the NBA, certainly over the past few games, but you could even expand it out to 10, where he's averaging 16.9 points and shooting above 60% from beyond the arc. He's been awesome, was awesome last time we saw him, talking wild to the opposing team, going viral in those ways. But again, pops on the status report yesterday when it's published. He is out for personal reasons, and it's probably worth noting that his brother, Pat Spencer, who of course plays for the Warriors, is also out for personal reasons. So that's I don't know. That doesn't sound great, does it?
No, it doesn't sound great. Now let's hope it's so that's what I was saying. You know, you sometimes can think like this is death in the family. Let's hope it's not that. Let's hope it's like, I don't know, family member giving birth, you know? New baby, new Spencer. There's a new Spencer baby. Let's hope it's that. But either way, like he's gonna be missed because I don't know. You've covered basketball, college basketball, NBA games forever. Like, you know, there are certain guys that your team has that, you know, not every team has them, but like they give you juice, and just the energy that they bring is like it's contagious around everybody else. And he is like for sure. Like he's one of those guys, so he's definitely going to be missed.
I know Vernon believes that I think everybody understands that the reason Cam Spencer has been put into this role is because of injuries throughout the roster. But I talked to Vernon about it, and he is now at a point where even if everybody were healthy, Cam Spencer needs to be a part of the rotation because of, in part, some of the stuff that you just noted that he brings. Like there's a certain energy and enthusiasm and something that exists when he's on the court. You know, a lot of the stuff he goes viral for, it's not just making shots at an incredible rate. It's making shots and then talking about it very enthusiastically to other people. So in the absence of him, you are missing something. And that will not be ideal tonight. But eventually, this will be behind him, and he'll return to the active roster. And the point Vernon makes is that you could get Ty Jerome healthy, you can get Scottie Pippen healthy, you can get everybody healthy, but this guy still needs to be a part of the rotation, which I'm not sure many people believed, say, if we were having this conversation in September. Where are you at on Cam Spencer being a part of the rotation going forward, even if, and I know this never happens, but play along, everybody is healthy?
Especially never happens with us. Yeah, I think he's 100% a part of the rotation. I think he has to be part of the rotation. Like, I don't know how you do it. Well, I mean, I guess you just keep him in the rotation and you make the other guys earn their way back into it. Now, I will say, if he did fall out of the rotation, because we've seen like John Conchar, it's happened with him a bunch, where he'll be in the rotation for 5 games and then out of the rotation for 5 games. If Cam did, I think he's not one of those guys that would get sulk and be upset. I think instead of taking 1,000 threes a day, he would then take 2,000 threes a day until you put him back in the rotation, and he would earn his way back in there. But yeah, Cam absolutely is going to be in the rotation, 100%.
I don't think you can have, because sometimes you hear people say things like, man, if you had a whole team, full of those type of guys, well, you'd lose because you'd be small and unathletic and you'd get picked on the defensive end of the court. Like, those are all things that still happen. But
Hoosiers can't play in the NBA today. You can't be Hoosiers.
Right. Although I did see this thing going around. Somebody posted the likely Texas Rangers projected starting lineup for opening day. Did you see this going around yesterday?
No.
Oh, it's nothing but people who look like you and I.
Like Mark Lemke? Just like a bunch of Mark Lemkes?
They were like, this is the widest starting lineup for opening day, like for Jackie Robinson.
They got no Dominican guys? They got nothing? Nothing.
It was all Rosers and Parrish. It was nothing but a whole field of Rosers and Parrish. So, I don't try that. It typically in most places, right? So when you hear people be like, man, if you had a whole team of Cam Spencers, you'd get killed. But I do like this. Forget the shooting, although the shooting is the most important thing, but that mindset, like his approach. I don't know that you need 15 dudes like that, but I think it's beneficial to have a few, and he's clearly one of them. And in year 2 of his professional career, he's turning into a real story.
No, I think it's good to have. Look, Cam's a crazy person. Like when it comes to basketball, like he's very clearly a crazy person, and I think it is good to have a crazy person on your roster. Sometimes the crazy person gets annoying. Like they wear out the word. Like Draymond Green is a crazy person about basketball, but there's no doubt that he's like impacted the winning and the success that the Golden State Warriors have had. Tony Allen, I love TA, crazy person, but you see the impact that some of those guys have. And I'm not saying that Cam Spencer is going to be an all-defensive player or like a 4-time NBA champion, but like I think every team needs those guys. You've talked to Dan. I was actually thinking about this when I knew I was going to do your show today. I was going to ask you. You had Dan Hurley on this show like numerous times. And I'm watching that Cup game last night, and it's Stephon Castle, and he's doing crazy things too. Like, they had all those guys together, like, on the same team. Like, those practices had to be insane.
You're going to look back at that UConn team, that championship team, and you're going to go, well, of course they won the national championship.
Right.
Look who was on that.
Yeah.
And I've talked to Dan specifically about this. The first thing when he's recruiting Cam Spencer out of the transfer portal that you desire is the shooting, right? But all of the other stuff is stuff that is important. His approach, his mindset, the craziness. It's a good kind of crazy. And yes, it can get annoying at times, but I think broadly speaking, it's more helpful than it is a detriment. And as long as we're talking about crazy basketball players, Joakim Noah was one.
Yes.
And I know was only in Memphis for a bit, but you'll remember it better than I, made an impact on the culture of the Grizzlies in that time. Do you agree with that?
He absolutely did. I remember the game that it was the Clippers game. He came in, there was a Clippers game. It was early in the season, and he came in here, Clippers game here at FedEx Forum, and he absolutely impacted the game in the fourth quarter and helped the Grizzlies win the game. And then he came on our show afterwards and saying he was way too lit for New York City, and that went viral. No, Joakim Noah is another good one. And like Joakim Noah won Defensive Player of the Year. So again, like not saying Cam's going to be that, but like, these guys, their energy, it's contagious, it's infectious, and Like, you need guys like that on your roster. And there's a reason that, like, during the stretch when they had Zach Edey, like, the Grizzlies bench would come in, and the bench was really good. And I think they fed off Cam.
I appreciate you pointing out, acknowledging that Cam Spencer is unlikely to be a future defensive player of the year.
Just in case anybody thought he would be.
I agree. But the other stuff he brings is, like, real valuable. And on the Joakim Noah stuff, I had this conversation with Billy Donovan one time. He said after they won that first national championship, this is what he told me. The second year, everybody comes back. And it was such an interesting and very specific and unique set of circumstances. Like, if you're ever wondering how that Florida thing happened and why it will possibly never happen again, all 5 starters from a championship team coming back to play another year, to try to go back-to-back. It was really completely tied to Florida's players' family situations. Like, I don't know that he was their best player, but Joakim Noah was their most important player. He was like the guy everybody looked at. Like, if you were going to a party, you'd follow that guy through the front door. He was the leader of everything. Well, his father was a professional tennis player, and his mother was a model. So he didn't need money. The way sometimes, by the time a young man gets into that position as a projected lottery pick, it's like, I've got to go because have you seen where my mom lives? Have you seen the debt my family is in? I can change everything about my family situation and break generational cycles just by putting my name in the NBA draft. It doesn't matter how much I'd like to come back to school, I have to go. That's a very normal thing when it comes to NBA prospects. And yet at Florida in that year, Joakim Noah was somebody who didn't have those same types of concerns. Again, his father was a professional tennis player. Mother was a model. So he was like, I'll come back to school if everybody else is coming back to school. I don't need to go to the NBA for money. I'm having a blast. Well, then Al Horford's like, my dad was a professional basketball player. We're not hurting for money either. I don't have to go get this paycheck right now. I guess I'll come back to school too. Well, then Torian Green and Lee Humphrey, they're not really early entry candidates for the NBA draft, so they don't have anywhere to go, so they're coming back to school. And then Corey Brewer is the one who, is from Tennessee and doesn't come from a lot of money, and he was the guy who actually had real incentive to just enter the NBA draft and get paid immediately. But he was like, if everybody else is coming back to school, I'll come back to school. And so all 5 starters are back at Florida. But in that second year, as Billy explained it, the practices sometimes got really hard because how do you get a team up for a game in December against, Bethune-Cookman when you just won a national championship and the only goal for this season is to win another one? Like, you have a pass-fail line. We all came back to school to do something great and it worked out, or we all came back to school to do something great and it didn't. And that's the way that story will be told forever, and it is based on you winning a game in April on a Monday night. You can't do anything to fix that or address it in November, December, January, February, March. You either win the game on the Monday in April and you complete your mission in a positive way, or you don't. And so when everything is about the last game, getting there can be difficult. The practices can become something that's challenging. And the point Billy had made is that anytime they hit those lulls in practices where it felt like, all right, we're all here, but nobody's really working, the passion's not here, the enthusiasm is not here, everybody's going through the motions, Billy said he knew all he had to do was get on Joakim Noah, whether he was doing something wrong or not. I just had to direct my anger and disappointment and frustration in his direction, and he would react to that in a way that elevated the entire practice. Because, to circle this back, he's a crazy person.
Right.
You don't a whole team of those type of personalities, but you like to have some of them. And it's helpful when they're important players, meaningful players, because you can raise the level of everything with everybody else just by raising the level with him, and he'll help you do it in ways that can sometimes be difficult with other players. And I really do think Cam Spencer doesn't play that role on this Grizzlies team the way Joakim Noah played that role on that Florida team, obviously. But he seems like the type of person, like he says just weird little things all the time that seem sincere. Like he says stuff like, I would die to win a regular season basketball game. Like that sentiment is something that he has suggested he believes in. Obviously, nobody should die for a regular season basketball game. Lots of NBA players don't even want to play in regular season basketball games. But this guy will verbalize that he'll die for one if that's what it takes. And that personality, I think, can be infectious. It can be helpful. And he has proven that combined with shooting can make him a real rotation piece on a NBA franchise roster that is trying to get back to the playoffs and do big things.
If he can't win Defensive Player of the Year, could he win Sixth Man of the Year one day? Why
Maybe.
not Sixth Man of the Year? Like, that's realistic one day. I mean, if the guy comes off the bench and hits 7 threes and is legit like one of the best. Like, he, outside of Steph Curry, because Steph Curry's Steph Curry, who else is a better pure shooter than Cam Spencer in the league right now?
No, it's a totally reasonable question to ask and point to make. Like, when the ball comes out of his hand, you assume it's going through the rim and net. And you're almost surprised when it doesn't, even though you know that most three-point shots you witness in a basketball game do not go in. You expect all of his to go in.
Yes.
He's been something. And so the Grizzlies will miss him tonight in Minneapolis. And hopefully whatever is going on that led to he and his brother with the Warriors both being ruled out of games over the next couple of days for personal reasons. You just hope it's, I don't know, thoughts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
With the Spencer family. Brandon Clarke, questionable tonight. Do you think we see him?
Yes, I do think we see Brandon Clarke. I don't know how many minutes. I know they've typically gone with Ja and Edey. It was, 20 and 25 minutes or something like that in their return. Ja's was 25, and then he got injured around the 20-minute mark that he was on the other night against the Clippers. But I don't know if Brandon's going to be that much just because of the severity of the injury and how many injuries he has had, like knee, foot, ankle, Achilles, like whatever. So I don't know. But look, we got a great Jaren Jackson Jr. game the other night, and Jaren Jackson Jr. has played his absolute best when he's been paired with Brandon Clarke. So maybe even if you get 10 minutes, 15 minutes of Jaren Jackson and Brandon Clarke on the court, it's a good thing.
I'll take it. Grizzlies, Timberwolves tonight at the Target Center in Minneapolis. Chris Vernon, I'll talk to him about it next. He'll join us after the break. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Own the 2025-26 Grizzlies season with the 10-game Flex Pack, the ultimate way to catch all the action on your terms. Choose your favorite matchups from intense rivalries to weekend thrillers and customize your pack to fit your schedule. With 10 games to pick, you'll never miss the moments that matter most. Visit Grizzlies.com/packs today to build your perfect ticket pack and cheer on the Grizzlies your way. It's your team, your season, and your schedule. So don't miss out.
The Grizzlies are the one thing everyone in the family can agree on. So join us every Sunday this season for Sunday Family Fun Days. It's a steal at just $35 and includes a ticket to the game, a $10 food voucher, post-game free throws on the court, and a meet and greet with mascot Grizz. Space is limited, so grab your tickets now for this unique experience your family won't soon forget. Go to Grizzlies.com/Sunday and have a fun day. Do you feel like you have had a matchup or an opponent or a moment where you're like, oh, I'm in the NBA now.
When we played the Warriors and Steph on the left wing hit like a step back three, like right in my face. Like, I remember watching this on TV and I'm the one getting scored on.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Miami Bud Crawford. John Roser back in the Built Ford Tough studio producing the program. And I'm joined now by Chris Vernon, who is the host of the Chris Media. I hear his voice. Let's see his face. Hey, Chris Vernon, how are you?
Hey, buddy.
How are
you?
you?
I'm here. I'm good.
Okay. Hey, before we get to the Grizzlies, let's circle back to last night. NBA Cup, Prime Video, big stage in Las Vegas. Knicks beat the Spurs. It felt like something different than a regular season game, which I guess is the goal for the NBA. Just what'd you make of the way that culminated last night?
I thought that you got this veteran-laden team that decided to start playing like super physical, and obviously Mitchell Robinson came in. They out-rebounded them. I think it was 23-7, 23-6 in the fourth. They just mauled them, and it got to where the Spurs couldn't get a rebound. Mitchell Robinson flipped that game completely. And between him and Kolick, they got obviously, and Clarkson as well, they got unbelievable contributions off their bench. And then on the other end, Wemby had been so massively impactful in that Oklahoma City game to get him to this point, but he did nothing in the fourth quarter of the game. I mean, he couldn't get a rebound, couldn't make a shot. And so I did think that this is one of those great learning experiences for San Antonio. I was impressed by them. I was certainly impressed by Castle and Harper in a big spot, but the Knicks are certainly the more weathered team, and I thought that that showed up, especially in the fourth quarter. Spurs were up by double digits in the third quarter, and then once the Knicks flipped it, and it just became Robinson was. You remember we went through this years ago when we played Golden State in the playoffs and Kevon Looney got every single rebound? That's what it reminded me of, right? Where if you're San Antonio, you're like, oh my God, I have nightmares about Mitchell Robinson. The same way we had, when I think back to the Grizzlies losing to the Warriors, I think of Dylan Brooks shooting us out of the game in game 4. And I think of Kevon Looney and Andrew Wiggins, in the pivotal game where it was nip tuck. It was we couldn't get the ball because Kevon Looney got every rebound, and the same went. I think Robinson had 10 offensive rebounds last night, and it feels like they all lead to threes. He was just so massively impactful. It was fun, though. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, so the story last night's the Knicks, but backing up to the semifinals, it was Spurs over Thunder, and some people thought that maybe if we're looking back on it a decade from now, that can be the starting point of an interesting rivalry in the Western Conference. Did you see it that way? Or
yes. Yes. I mean, my God, look at the team. look at the age of the guys. Castle is awesome. Harper is awesome. And Wemby might end up being the best player in the league sooner than later. And so you never know the way this stuff is going to go, right? We always talk about these teams, but we also do projections. Once upon a time, not long ago, 3 or 4 years ago, the Grizzlies were number 1 in future rankings Because you looked at it and you went, they got John Morant and Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane and Brandon Clarke, and then you never know the way this thing's going to go, right? You never know the way it's going to go. But if we're just assuming health and we assume the trajectory of these players, yes, those teams will be meeting each other in playoff series for the next decade.
Last thing on the cup, then we'll move on to the Grizzlies. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, last night pregame acknowledged that they're exploring with different possibilities about how to do this event going forward. And one thing that he said Prime Video had brought to his table was the idea of maybe playing the NBA Cup championship game at storied college locations. The idea being maybe you watch two of the best NBA teams with, some of the best players in the world play for a trophy at Cameron Indoor, at Rupp Arena, at the Dean Smith Center, at Assembly Hall, so on and so forth. Does that make sense to you? And I ask you specifically because, if I remember correctly, you've been to Vegas for Cup championship, and I guess the criticism is that, sure, you can get people into the building, I guess, but there's really no juice to it.
No, there's no juice. The year I went, they got lucky because the Lakers destroyed the Pelicans, and then they went to the finals. So you had all those, you're right, Lakers are A, a huge national brand, and B, people drove, right? They got there, you know what I mean? It was an easy trip to just go up when it's drivable like that. But the first game, which was played in the middle of the day, between the Pacers and the Bucks, dead. I mean, you're just you're honestly you're dropping curtains over, that kind of stuff. And so, I think what they figured out is because of the way this plays out and because of when the games end, it's almost impossible for a fan base to plan a trip in advance. And so I was just listening, my buddy Tim Bontemps, who writes for ESPN, he's the one that asked a question about that and about expansion and about some of the other stuff with Adam Silver and has a relationship with him. And he was saying he would not be surprised if you look up and you go, that thing's being played at Duke. Like, he's a Duke guy. Silver's a Duke guy. It sounds like, when they talk to Amazon Prime, like, hey, what about this, right? It's kind of it's a storied college arena. There's not many seats in it. You could probably, rally together the crazies or whatever, like make it an environment for that. And then they brought up some other ones. They brought up Hinkle Fieldhouse. They brought up Fog Allen, maybe Pauley Pavilion, like some of the others, as possible places where you could pull that off. Kind of neutral sites where people would be excited about having an NBA game at those places. And so, I don't know, again, if they're going to continue on the neutral site thing, it's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
No, and, I don't care that Cameron Indoor only holds, 9,000 people.
Right.
Then it means you're selling, 9,000 fewer tickets? Big picture for the NBA, that's nothing. That's nothing.
No.
For a television product that will be compelling. I don't ever know or care who's playing in the Field of Dreams game that Major League Baseball does.
Right.
But we just kind of turn it on because it looks different and it looks cool.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Where could you have a neutral? So I brought up overseas, but evidently overseas is not a thing that they want to do. Okay. When you try to think of where could they put a neutral site NBA game like that and sell out for sure, I would say you could do it overseas. That would you're selling out they're selling out friggin' Jaguars versus Dolphins. If you put a game over there, it's one of the only ones, and so they're going to sell the thing out. I do think when you're talking about smaller college arenas, the second you put that on sale, it would sell out. And so if you're just trying to figure out, I don't think it's that easy to figure out okay, where could we have a neutral site game that would absolutely sell out? And maybe some of the non-NBA markets, maybe a St. Louis or a Kansas City or, I don't, obviously you've done it in Vegas and it's just, it's too hard for people to travel out there to support their team. And on short notice.
And Vegas is really expensive.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Tourist in Vegas at all times, but it's fewer now than it used to be for a variety of reasons. And also, if you're in Las Vegas, there, as you know, there's a million things to do.
Sure.
And watching two basketball teams that you might not care about it can be pretty low on the list. Whereas
you're gonna love this. All right, so you've been to T-Mobile, right?
Of course.
Okay, so T-Mobile is across from MGM. I can't remember which one it is.
Like the MGM the smaller MGM property right there is next to T-Mobile.
Across from it, yeah. The Lakers went up 40 on the Pelicans, and Zion is just kind of like three-legged racing down the court, like dragging a leg. And I mean, it was horrible. The second half of the first game, I walked back, of the second game, I walked back over and played video poker the entire second half. Like, so I am that guy, right? I'm like, I'm not watching this crap. I don't care about this. Like, they're up by 40. Like,
now keep in mind who you are. You are Chris Vernon, who hosts an NBA podcast.
Yes.
And even you were like, I'm going to go do something else.
What is the point of this? This is boring. They were up by 40 in the third quarter. I was like, I'm going to go play video poker.
So in Vegas, there's a lot of other things to do, and most people are going to want to do those things. Whereas, I grew up in a market without a big-time professional sports franchise. And every once in a while, though, the Cardinals would come to Tim McCarver Stadium and play. That's a big childhood. Like, I went and saw 85 World Series, Royals-Cardinals. The following spring training, Royals-Cardinals, it was like marketed as World Series rematch, exhibition at Tim McCarver. And I went to that, and that was like the bit that.
Oh, when I was a little kid, we had this too. Whoever won the NBA championship would come for the one exhibition game St. Louis got. And my dad would buy tickets every year. So I saw the Lakers, I saw the Pistons, I saw the Bulls. It was the biggest deal. I was going to get to go to an NBA game, even if it was preseason.
That's the key, I think. Put it in places where they don't have access to the NBA and or other professional sports, or college arenas where you'll just turn it on just to see what it looks like.
Sure.
Like I turned Field a Dreams game just to see what it looks like.
Yes.
And it looks awesome because it's different. And I think it would be cool for the players. They might not like the locker rooms. You go to these college towns, they might not like some of the hotels. But I bet you there would be players, NBA guys worth $100 million who would walk into Allen Fieldhouse and pull out their iPhones and take pictures of Payheed and all that stuff.
Oh, I bet they'd have fun.
Yes.
I bet they get super cool because it feels like college again.
Yes.
And most of them will tell you if they could go back, they'd do it all over again, right? Like any of them that spent any time in college, even Jaron, who spent 6 months at Michigan State, goes back every summer.
Right. I work with a lot of these guys, former college basketball stars, and almost without exception, when they start reminiscing, like when Roy Hibbert starts talking about when he played basketball, it has very little to do with the Pacers. He goes back to touchdown.
I honestly, I think, and that is not just true of basketball players. That is true of people, right? When I think back on my life, and I think about because what you don't realize, I was explaining to somebody about this the other day when I was talking about kids. When everybody says, and I know you're going through it as yours are still little now, but it's like this goes by so fast, and you'll blink and it's over or whatever. And in the moment, I was always saying, no, I think I'm living this up. I'm not going to regret the amount of time I've spent all this time. The answer is, though, they look up, and what you don't realize is what you're going to miss is that they care about you. You know what I mean? Because there comes a day where it's like, I've gotten William to watch the Anthony Edwards show on Netflix and John Cena's last match. That's been about what I've been able to pull him into with me. And it's not like, but he's just got his own thing, and he's just, he's a teenager, so he doesn't want to be around his parents all the time. And so that's what you miss, is that they want to be around you all the time, and then they don't want to be around you. That being said, the other thing is what they don't tell you about college is that the reason you're going to miss that so much is because that's the last step before you become responsible, an adult. You've got things you've got to do. There's people calling you, asking you to do this. You've got to get up for a job every day. You're worried about this. You're worried about that. And in college, it's like the last chance you get before you've got to move into adulthood.
They almost all feel that way. Like, I promise you, if you talk to Carmelo Anthony, he would, and you said, man, what's the most fun you ever had playing basketball?
Yes.
He'd probably go to the 1 year at Syracuse outside of any of the years.
Because what do you have to worry about?
This is
the only thing. I mean, these guys, what they got to worry about is, did they DM the same chick? Like, that's your greatest concern. Did we DM the same chick in Lawrence, Kansas when we're going to play on the road there?
So let's put NBA players on college campuses.
And you know, you can
they actually, you know what?
Yeah, they would love it.
That could be
They
a
would
disaster.
love it. Yeah. You start putting NBA players on college campuses.
You're going to run into that every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's going to be unavoidable. But this is one where I think it's interesting. When I was younger, I thought I was a lot smarter than I actually was. And I thought I had answers for every type of situation you could put in front of me. I knew exactly what everybody should do. And this is what Marcus Smart taught me, oddly enough. He was a projected top 3 pick after his freshman year at Oklahoma State. And obviously, when you're labeled that way, almost always the person enters the draft. And he just didn't. And I remember going to, I think, Orlando, one of those ESPN Thanksgiving events, and they were in it. Memphis was in it. And I sat down with him. And I was just like trying to understand why he did something that most players don't do, shove away the idea of being a top 5 pick to come back to college. And he stated it so simply, and I've never forgotten it. He said, man, you know, I know anything could happen, but I feel like I'm pretty good at this, and I'm going to trust that I'll stay healthy. And whatever millions of dollars that I could have gotten already, it'll be there for me when I go. But I just didn't want to change my life. Like, right now, I'm living with my best friends. I'm the best player on my team. And I've got an opportunity to maybe, you know, go bring something to this school that, you know, nobody's done in a long time. And I'm going to play in sold-out arenas every night, on national television every night. And he seemed to understand that will never again be his life. He will never again live with his best friends and be the best player on his team, playing in sold-out arenas on national television every night. And he didn't want to give that up. And I had spent my entire career thinking that's not really a choice you make. The NBA draft analysts make that choice for you. If they say you're going to be a top 5 pick, you have to go. It's not up to you. And he was like, I just didn't want to walk away and give up what I'm enjoying in my day-to-day. And that is literally the time where I stopped criticizing players for draft decisions, because sometimes, sure, the millions of dollars are right there and a lot of people will take them. But he made me understand, without even recognizing that he was doing it, that there's real value placed upon those years that you could spend in college, even if all the money is, a couple of years away.
College is fun. That's why DeAndre Williams did it for 10 years. And Sam Kraft was on every Memphis football team for a decade.
College is fun. College is fun.
The longer, until they kick you out.
Until they kick you out. All right. Let's circle back to the Grizzlies. Tonight, 7 o'clock tip in Minneapolis against the Timberwolves. 7.5-point underdogs. John Morant listed as questionable. Cam Spencer out for personal reasons. Pat Spencer also out for the Warriors tomorrow night. Personal reasons. That's just.
Yeah, so you'd imagine. Yeah, well, and they both, I don't know if you saw Drew Hill, the first 3 that they hit, they both pointed to the sky. So there must be some kind of death in the family that they're having to attend to. But they've certainly, I mean, look, this has been the Cam Spencer. He has been, recently, he's certainly been the story, and he's gotten a lot of national attention. So kind of a bummer. I'm sure he never wants to have to miss a game either. And then the Morant stuff, I am honestly, I'm thrilled that he's questionable. I was terrified about that after I saw him, turn his ankle and he kind of winced in the fourth quarter of that last game. I guess we will see if he is able to play, but it certainly, would be a boost if you're not going to get Spencer in the lineup tonight, if you could somehow get Morant and Clarke, because you are playing against the Timberwolves team that has a better record than you, but they have not performed extremely well against good competition either this year. Theirs is, the Grizzlies' schedule is lightening up in December. Their schedule was light at the beginning. Because if you go through it, they did not beat a who's who to accumulate the wins they have thus far. And so this is going to be an interesting one, right? They've kind of been they've been doing it kind of without a point guard, and it hasn't been all that good for them. And I would also say, I think you want to be in striking range with 5 minutes left to go in the game. I think that's the thing you look for, because this has been a team that has not performed very well in clutch situations, the Timberwolves. And I think a lot of that's because that is frequently the case with teams that don't have natural point guards or guys kind of running the show, getting shots for people. And so I think the best thing that could happen tonight is that we look up with the 5-minute mark and this game is in the balance.
Last thing before I get you out of here, Brandon Clarke also listed as questionable. He obviously has not played at all this season. Whether we see him tonight or in the next game, it's pretty clear we're going to see him soon. Where do you set expectations for him coming off of his latest injury?
I mean, I'm sure the minutes will be low, but he's never been like a 30-minute guy anyway. So being able to be effective, and most importantly, in the absence of Zach Edey, we need that Jaren-Brandon pairing to be as successful as it has been over the course of his career. Like, those guys have been on the team together for a long time, and it has never been a losing proposition. That combination worked. It is the concept is proven. And so that's the most important thing to me is we know that the Landale-Jaren minutes have been poor, right? That hasn't worked. You tried to go to the Aldama thing. We need the Brandon Jaren thing to work and work successfulally as it has for the better part of 6-7 years. 6-7.
There was, I can't remember what game it was, college basketball game the other night. And we, the little guys are in there with me and we're watching. And I'm barely paying attention and they're barely paying attention. Like, we're all, like, in our phones, like, just we're pretending to spend time together, but we're not really. And, like, they're not even watching the game. But somebody made a free throw to take it to 67, and they both immediately, like, it triggered something. They were both just 7, 6. Like, is that just what's happening with every kid in America right now? When you hear that those numbers put next to each other, it triggers something in you, whether you're even paying attention or not.
Yes. And I knew on Sunday after church, me and Haley and my mom were at lunch at Panera, and my mom in the middle of lunch goes, "What is 6'7"?" And Haley and I was like, "Oh boy, oh boy," to my daughter, and my daughter's like, "Oh, Granny," and she's like, "I saw it on Fox News this morning."
That's when you hit record on your phone and just slide it over there.
I know. Could have been
that forever, because whatever is about to be said, it's going to be hilarious.
I know. I should have pulled out my phone. Stupid. I've ruined everything.
Hey, join the club.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Why are you there?
I don't know.
No, really. What is there a game?
Yeah, we have games tonight.
What? What do you have?
I haven't looked yet.
Oh my God. You're a joke. Seriously.
Right,
you don't even know what game you got going on tonight? It's not Memphis Vandy?
I know it sounds awful, but like the way my mind works, I focus on the thing that is directly in front of me, and then when that's done, I look at the next thing. But I don't take things out of order.
Who does CBS Sports know? Who does Gary have tonight?
I know UNLV's on because I saw that, so I'll have Josh Pastner.
Oh, okay. And is Rothstein on with you? You can count on him to break it down if you need him.
Yeah, I can. No, they try not to put two non-players, non-hosts in studio together at the same time.
So who are you with?
I think tonight it will be Adam Zucker as our host.
Yeah.
Roy Hibbert and Steve Lapis.
Oh.
I think it's Steve Lapis, Roy Hibbert, and Adam Zucker.
What's the game?
Oh, you have Air Force and San Diego State at 9 tonight.
Let's go. Let's go.
So you don't have UNLV tonight. You have Air Force and San Diego State tonight.
Damn it. Well, none of those are Memphis coaches. I've got to figure out something to say.
San Diego State without Kawhi Leonard.
Damn it.
Are they still good at basketball? San Diego State, they've had a really good program for a long time.
They were in the national title game against UConn a couple years. They're 5-3.
It's happening. And you're seeing this, not to take this on a different direction.
They beat Oregon.
Oh. Oregon stinks this year, I think.
Oh, Oregon stinks?
I think so.
They've been hurt and they stink.
Yeah.
In college basketball right now, you're starting to see the writing on the wall. The only non-power conference team that is legitimately good is Gonzaga. And
you watch your mouth. You watch your mouth.
It's true.
No.
Just accept it.
No.
What do you try? You think Aaron Bradshaw's turning it
my
around?
goggle guy in St. Louis.
Oh.
Robbie Avila.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, St. Louis is good, aren't they?
No, they're a one-loss team and projected 10 right now, but they're still in the 40s at KenPom. So,
yeah, well, okay, take them lightly at your own risk.
I agree.
Big Robbie's taking somebody down in the tournament.
Wait, is St. John's not good?
That's power conference. Big East power conference.
Oh, Big East is a power conference of basketball.
Jesus, Roser, get with the times.
Oh,
dumbass.
Did we a few years ago? St. Louis got good a few years ago, and we did a whole bit on the Eye on College Basketball podcast about Billikens and like what is a Billiken and like broke it all. And then next thing I know, I'm getting an email from somebody at St. Louis, and they're like, "GP, what's your address?" They sent me the baddest Billiken belt. I have a Billiken belt.
Oh,
it's a belt, a blue belt, and the buckle is a Billiken head.
You need to wear that.
Hey, that is amazing. When I was
get a fit off.
So when I was growing up, you remember me and you went to Memphis, St. Louis when they played each other. They were in the same conference. We stayed at my parents' house 100 years ago.
That was we had a fun night. I think Rob Fisher was kicking it with us.
We did, and I still have from that night the Brad Soderberg bobblehead. Whatever happened to that guy? He was like a Mick Cronin light, like where he was like a super hothead and he was bald, and even in the bobblehead he's screaming. It's crazy. What happened to that guy, Brad Soderberg?
Let's see. Brad Soderberg. Well, he's 63 years old. He is an assistant at Millikan.
What the heck?
Millikan is an intercollegiate athletic program located of Millikan University, located in Decatur, Illinois. The Big Blue Athletic Program is a member of the College Conference of Illinois and Wisconsin. They compete at D3.
Brad Soderberg.
Division 3.
That's where he is now.
Yeah.
Man, it's funny sometimes. Like you look up and like, where is that guy? And you hear exactly what Roser just told us. I was in studio weeks ago.
No, the best one was you talking about how close you were to that coach, and then we looked him up, and he was at Ole Miss. Who was that? He's like at Ole Miss now, and Gary didn't even know. What?
Like Bobby, I think was that Bobby Lutz?
Bobby Lutz.
I was like, I love Bobby Lutz. He lives 50 minutes from me.
I'm like, whatever happened to him?
You can go see Bobby Lutz whenever you want.
You can literally go talk to him anytime in person.
He lives right down the street.
Bobby Lutz is not at Ole Miss.
He was.
For a minute.
He was.
It's never listed as him at Ole Miss.
No, he
was.
was.
Maybe that wasn't right.
It was.
His coaching history, the last time is listed is 1920. He was a special assistant at Nebraska.
No. He was like a what's it called?
Oh, is that a consultant or something?
Like an assistant AD or some kind of crap.
Okay.
Something like that.
Maybe. But here's one. So the other night I'm in studio a few weeks ago, and it's some team playing some team. But the head coaches in the game were Ed Schilling, former Memphis assistant.
Oh, wow.
And Vance Wahlberg, the dribble drive guy.
Wow.
The offense to John Calipari. So I'm like, I used to sit in the Finch Center with these guys.
Crazy.
And now here they are 20 years later coaching these teams. And
who does Ed Schilling coach?
Is it Pepperdine, maybe?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that was the offense.
Wow. No, that was Vance Wahlberg.
Yeah, but didn't it come from Pepperdine?
Oh, it did come from Pepperdine.
No, Vance was a junior college coach. It's funny how that story happened.
Ed Schilling is at Pepperdine, by the way.
Yeah, I'm the beat writer at the time. It might have been like Pepperdine, Fresno State, or something like that. But I'm the beat writer at the time, and I'm just sort of like I was at the Finch Center every day, and John's like working on some new offense, and I'm like, so what? He keeps talking about dribble drive, and I'm like, so what is this? And he said, I met a junior college coach, and I was just amazed by what they were doing, and so I went to see him, and then I flew him in to see us, and now this is the way we play. And I was like, well, probably need to talk to that guy. But that's where it came from. Like that's Vance Wahlberg.
All right, before we get out of here, I found it. Here we go. Hold on, let me get to the camera. If you could zoom in. Bobby Lutz, Associate AD for men's basketball, Ole Miss, on their website.
Shout out Bobby
That's
Lutz.
where he is now. Bobby friggin' Lutz.
He had some solid teams at Charlotte.
Unbelievable.
Oh, like there was a time where you had Tom Crean at Marquette, Rick Pitino at Louisville, Bobby Lutz at Charlotte, John Calipari at Memphis, Bob Huggins at Cincinnati. Like that was a real basketball league.
So weird because I always think of Crean. When I think of Tom Crean, like I think of Marquette and I think of Georgia. And it was so weird last night when I was watching the NBA Cup game and Dwayne Wade's on the broadcast and he's talking about calling Tom Crean to talk to him about OG Anunoby. And I'm like, why the hell is he calling him about it? And he's like, he played for him in Indiana. And I was like, I'll be damned.
Yeah, the Tom Crean Indiana days.
I don't remember that at all. Like, it's just a blind spot. I don't remember OG Anunoby as a player at Indiana playing for Tom Crean in the same way that I remember Anthony Edwards at Georgia playing for Tom Crean or Dwayne Wade at Marquette playing for Tom Crean.
OG, helped Tom, I think, win an outright Big Ten title.
Oh, wow.
Next year, he got hurt, and the season went the wrong way, and then they fired Tom. If OG gets hurt at Indiana, he probably keeps that job.
I just don't even remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird when Dwayne Wade brought it up. It was like we were talking about, they're like all these old Tom Crean guys, and I was like, OG Anunoby. I was like, I don't even remember that.
So I can remember being at a Conference USA Media Day that they had I don't know, it feels like maybe at the Marriott in downtown Memphis or something. But it was a media day where the coaches and the players, they just sat at the little round table you might see in an elementary school, and you just go sit down next to them. And I could vividly remember sitting down and spending 30 minutes with Dwayne Wade.
Crazy.
Just sitting at a kindergarten table.
Different world now.
Oh, yeah, you don't get close to it. But it was an interesting story because he was a first-year player at Marquette the same year DeJuan Wagner was a first-year player at Memphis. Oh. And Wag obviously got all of the attention because D. Wade was like an academic casualty in Chicago.
Right.
He had no grades, and so almost nobody recruited him. But I give credit to Zach McMillan, who was the beat writer at Memphis before I was the beat writer at Memphis. Either Zach wrote it or said it, but I remember at some point very early him wondering out loud, are we sure DeJuan Wagner's even the best first-year player in this league, even though he's supposed to be the best player in the country or the best freshman in the country? Because there's this unheralded, unheard of guy at Marquette named Dwayne Wade who looked the part. Yeah, so, and then you know everything that happened after that. But I don't know. Hey, shouts to Bobby Lutz. I hope he's doing okay.
Shout out to Bobby Lutz. And Brad Soderberg.
And Larry Hughes.
At Millikan College.
Shout out Larry Hughes.
Yep. And Charlie Spoonhour, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Charlie Spoonhour.
Now, rest in peace, Rick Majerus.
Yeah, but put some respect on St. Louis's name. You said there ain't nobody any good that's not in a power conference. Robbie Avila is going to have something to say about that.
That was my point, and then I'll get you out of here. But, I do think if you're a Memphis fan, you start to get concerned. This divide is it's really showing up.
I know.
16 last year in the AP poll right now, in the amount of money being spent on basketball rosters. And just to circle back to UNLV, there was a time in our childhood where UNLV was like maybe the biggest brand in college basketball.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like they were winning
without question, and they were the coolest.
And now it just doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm.
So we can lose it.
Yeah.
In part because of league affiliation, in part because of all variety of reasons. And I worry, like sincerely, that we are in a delicate place with Memphis basketball where it's reasonable to wonder, can you get it back to the way it used to look? Because you can say things like, well, Memphis basketball will always matter. But I bet you in the early 90s in Las Vegas, everybody thought UNLV basketball will always matter.
Right.
In fact, 2025, and it just doesn't anymore, not in any sort of tangible way.
Well, if they beat Vandy tonight, it'll matter again.
Beat Vandy tonight, it'll matter. I didn't mean to end on a depressing note, so let's just go Tigers go and beat Vandy.
All right.
Tigers go. Let's win tonight, and then we'll be happy and excited about everything tomorrow morning. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I hope so.
I hope so too. That's Chris Vernon. He'll be in the big studio. Give him about an hour, and he'll get going over there. Grind City Media app or on YouTube. When we come back, we'll turn our attention to Memphis Vanderbilt. Big game inside FedEx Forum tonight. The Tigers are home underdogs, but it's within single digits, so puncher's chance. We'll dive into it next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
The heaviest metal credit card of all time. Rumored to be one of only 18 in existence. Plated with the very same tungsten that forged the International Space Station. And wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move? Having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
The Grizzlies are proud to team up with Prime Global Group, a company on a mission to redefine real estate investment. By leveraging deep experience, strategic insight, and robust resources, Prime Global Group is shaping a smarter, socially responsible future. Whether you're an investor or simply curious, now's the time to explore innovative strategies that align with your values. Join the movement and discover how you can be a part of this exciting evolution. Visit primeglobalgroup.net to learn more and connect with the team today. That's primeglobalgroup.net.
How are you able to release and have an instrumental song become a huge deal?
And I forget who the disc jockey was, but he put the wrong side on. He put the Green Onions by mistake and played the B side instead of the A side.
No!
And that's when the change happened. These people started to call the station and say, play that song again.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Are you ready to transform your pool into a stunning oasis? At Mainland Pool Service, they're a family-owned business committed to keeping your pool looking pristine all year round. They believe that pool care should be proactive, not reactive, which is why their skilled team handles everything from routine cleaning to complex issues with precision. They prioritize clear communication and personalized solutions to exceed your expectations. Join the Mainland Pool Service family today and experience the difference their expertise and dedication can bring to your relaxation retreat. Contact them now at mainlandpoolservice.com.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since the injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays in the evenings and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Memphis Vanderbilt is scheduled for tonight inside FedEx Forum, 7 o'clock tip. Vandy
is listed as a 9.5-point favorite. They are currently ranked 10th at KenPom. Yes, Vanderbilt, despite not being ranked in the AP poll in the preseason, is currently the highest-rated SEC team at KenPom.com. John Roser, are you optimistic about what your alma mater could do tonight?
I got to turn my mic on. I haven't seen Vanderbilt play basketball this year. I've only seen Memphis play maybe like 1.5 times. 2 times total, I guess, if you want to add the 3 games together or whatever, probably equals 2 times 2 full games I've seen them. Vanderbilt being 10th in the why is this like something we got to get used to? Vanderbilt's just going to be awesome at sports now? Like, I remember when Vandy was pretty solid at basketball. Shout out Matt Freege. But I don't they're good at football now, and now they're back to being good at basketball. I didn't realize they were 10th at KenPom though.
Yeah, they started 19th, which was a little surprising, given that they weren't talked about that way by humans. But a computer did spit that number out. And Mark Byington's terrific. He is respected as one of the best ball coaches. Sometimes you'll talk to coaches and they'll say things like, he's a great recruiter. That guy's a wonderful recruiter. Or that guy really knows how to run a program. And then every once in a while you'll hear this, man, that guy's a ball coach. And it just means he can really do it.
Where did he come from?
Mark Byington was the coach at James Madison before the Vanderbilt. This is year 2 at Vandy. Went 32-4 in his final year at JMU. So that's another school that is invested deeply in basketball and football, and the results have followed. But in year 2 at Vandy, Byington's got a team that right now is projected to finish tied for first atop the SEC standings. 9.5-point favorite tonight inside FedEx Forum. Most people haven't seen them play. Like you said, you haven't really seen them play. They didn't have – they played 0 ranked teams up to this point. So they haven't been in the Players Era Festival or in Maui or in one of these big neutral court games, perhaps because – and I haven't talked to Mark about this, but – I don't think he knew he was going to have a team that could win the SEC in year 2. So you probably don't put together a schedule that suggests you think you're going to be better than most people you play, particularly when you're going to have to play a conference schedule in a league that rated last season and measured last season in many ways as the best league in the history of men's college basketball. So they sort of eased into it with their non-league schedule, but there's a lot of advanced metrics that suggest this is quite literally one of the best teams in the country. Regardless of how things go tonight, regardless of what the crowd looks like tonight, let me ask you something, because you and I are around each other all the time, but we don't talk on shows together too much that often. Are you concerned, as somebody who grew up caring about Memphis basketball and who still does care about Tiger hoops, are you concerned that we have lost something that is going to be difficult to get back? I don't have to tell you, anybody with a television knows, when you turn it on, it doesn't look the way it used to look. It doesn't sound the way it used to sound. And obviously the team is struggling. But even that aside, if the team was good, I don't know that it would look the way it used to look and sound the way it used to sound. I brought up the UNLV thing earlier. It is unimaginable, if you go back to, say, the early 90s, that UNLV would just be a whatever program in college basketball. But it is. And right now, in this moment, Memphis is kind of a just whatever program in college basketball, unfortunately. Does that bother you, concern you?
I mean, yeah, it absolutely concerns me. I thought when y'all were talking about it at the end there in the last segment, because what is it? Louisville has their basketball roster. They spend 3 or 4 times what Memphis does on their basketball roster, basically. What it reminds me of, honestly, is European soccer. Whereas, technically, Memphis can get in the NCAA tournament and win a national championship. Technically, that can happen. Just technically, Newcastle and Aston Villa, and Aston Villa's actually not bad this year, but Newcastle and Bournemouth or whatever can get in the Premier League and theoretically can win the Premier League title. But bro, they are not outspending Manchester City. They are not outspending Liverpool, and they can't compete financially with those teams right there. And that's kind of how it feels, right now. And it feels the same way in college football too.
And I understand all of that. the economics of it, and yet it's still depressing to hear because we've never, you and I, we've lived this stuff our entire lives, and we've never thought of Memphis basketball as a second-class citizen in college athletics, regardless of the conference. Put them in the Metro, put them in the Great Midwest, put them in Conference USA, put them in the American. You can still get Derrick Rose to come there. You can still recruit Penny Hardaway.
Yeah.
You can still recruit Elliot Perry. You can still recruit Lorenzen Wright and David Vaughn. You can still go get Scooter McFadden. You can still go to Detroit and get Chris Douglas Roberts. You can still go to Baltimore and get Joey Dorsey. Yeah, maybe you're playing in a mid-major league, but you're not a mid-major program. John's whole thing, the 9 years that he was at Memphis, anytime somebody would bring up the league, he would say, the only league my players care about is the NBA. In college, we could play in the SEC or Conference USA. That's not what matters. But for the first time in my life, it feels like the conference affiliation matters. It feels like it's harder to keep up than it's ever been. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Memphis has a historically relevant men's basketball program that has produced and or housed some of the best basketball players this world has ever seen. But they couldn't keep the 2025 American Athletic Conference Player of the Year. He left them. It wasn't over money. He just decided he wanted to be somewhere else. Didn't want to play at Memphis anymore. And Memphis also has a top 10 women's soccer program in the country. And Brooks has been running that thing amazingly for a long time. And the reigning AAC Offensive Player of the Year in women's soccer also just got into the transfer portal. And I know that every situation is unique and you can explain away all of these things, but to have to explain both of these things inside a calendar year, I think is a real message about the growing divide in college athletics on some level. And I worry, genuinely worry, that my kids, or if I'm ever fortunate enough to have grandkids, will just not care about Tiger basketball the way I cared deeply about Tiger basketball my entire childhood. When I was Oliver or Lou's age, I knew every Memphis basketball player, plus every Louisville basketball player, plus every Cincinnati basketball player. And I'm confident my youngest boys could not name you one Tiger basketball player right now. They know Penny, but they don't know anybody else. And I'm scared something is slipping away here.
No, I'm 100% with you, man.
Number 2.
Damn it. I was hoping it wouldn't be slipping away. I was hoping you would say something to make me.
It very much is. You can feel it. Look in the crowd. The crowd, or lack thereof. It is.
It's tough. And it's like one of those things where then people then say, how do you get it back? And I don't know that it's easy. I don't, when the Tubby Smith era felt like it hit this point, man, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
There was an obvious and easy fix to it. I screamed about it every day, embarrassingly. I look back on that time. I don't like talking about it the way I talked about it. I hope to never be that enthusiastic about taking a man's job again. But I was right. I was right in the sense that something had to change, and there was a very easy change to make. You go fire this guy, hire this guy, recruiting classes follow, fan enthusiasm follows, and it worked for a minute. But now here we are again. And the problem for Memphis right now is that there was an obvious solution to the Tubby Smith problem. It was Penny Hardaway. But is there an obvious solution to the Penny Hardaway problem right now? To the Memphis basketball problem? I don't know.
Conference and money.
Yeah, that's it. That is true. And that's actually, thank you for saying that, because that is where this whole thing flips. You just look up in a few years and some of the biggest brands in the ACC, but not all, have left, and then you slide right there. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly a conference schedule against UAB and East Carolina is now a conference schedule against Louisville and Duke. I don't know. But and that can change things. But right now it feels like it's in a not great spot. And it can be difficult to pull out of it. But a victory over Vandy tonight might go.
Number 2.
Oh, I didn't mean to hit that one.
Fine, let's move on. Final score last night in what I grew up calling Thompson Bowling Arena. Now they call it something else.
Food City Center. When did this happen?
A few years ago. I think it's technically Thompson Bowling Arena at the Food City Center, one of those types of things.
Oh, just sponsorship stuff.
We got to get the money, but want to hold on to the name. So I guess this is the way to do it. Like at some point, you're going to get this. It'll be like Wrigley Field at Truist Bank Stadium. You're going to get something. Fenway Park at Coca-Cola Stadium. Like you're going to get those types of things, I would imagine. So that's what they've done in Knoxville. Either way, 83-62. Poor Bennett. He picked Louisville based on little more than what he watched them do to the Tigers over the weekend. And then they go into Knoxville. Michael Brown, their 5-star freshman, doesn't play, and they don't hit 18 three-pointers, so they lose pretty convincingly. So 21-point win for the Vols, snaps a 3-game losing streak, and just it's wild to think about you could beat Houston in the Players Era Festival and then lose 3 games after that to teams that are mostly considered inferior to Houston, but that is what Tennessee did. But they bounced back last night, got a big home win, heading into the weekend before Christmas, and it was Jacoby Gillespie who was the leading scorer. 23 points for him, 5 of 12 from the field, and their 5-star freshman, Nate Ament, who had sort of been, if everybody calls Darren Peterson, A.J. DeBonsa, and Cameron Boozer the top 3 freshman draft prospects in college basketball, Nate Ament at Tennessee was considered the next one. Like, if you're doing a top 3 in the draft, put those 3 guys in any order, but then Ament might have to go 4th. He had been really struggling in the 3-game losing streak, but over the past 4 games, even the victory over Houston, 25% from the field, 30% from 3. Last night he was a little better, 5 of 11 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 13 points and 7 rebounds. So Tennessee improves to 8-3, 6-0 at home. Nice win for the Vols.
Number 3.
Curt Cignetti, Indiana football coach, has been named the Associated Press National Coach of the Year for the 2nd straight year. This man is 62 years old, has now coached at the Power Conference level for 2 years, and in both of those years, he has been named the AP Coach of the Year. Oh, by the way, he also has a Heisman Trophy winner at Indiana, also is the number 1 seed in the college football playoff. I don't know if you watched it, but they profiled him on 60 Minutes Sunday. So after Phillip Rivers threw an interception and lost a game at the age of 44, it just sort of transitioned straight into 60 Minutes, and eventually they got to a piece on Cignetti. His story's incredible. Like, what's happening at Indiana right now, and I know people understand this for the most part, but this is crazy. This would be like if, I don't know, in basketball, Penn State hired a dude in his 60s who had accomplished some stuff, but never anything at the Power Conference level, and then in a year made him very good, and by year 2 had Penn State basketball not only atop the Big Ten, but atop the country with a 1 next to its name. Like, that is what Curt Cignetti has done at Indiana in the sport of football, and it's absolutely bananas. I don't even think Indiana fans can believe what's happening right now.
No, it's crazy, and everybody, you see everybody wants the next Cignetti, and how do you even find it? It is crazy. And he's not doing it with like 5-star kids. Like, no, they spend a ton. They do spend. Like Mendoza was $2 million. He literally is good though at identifying these guys. Like, Mendoza was not a highly recruited player, but he saw what he did at Cal and said, that guy fits what I do, fits our style, and I'm going to go pay him $2 million to do it. Like, they have money they throw around, but their evaluations are incredible because they're not competing for the same players that maybe they will now, but they were not last year for the same players that Ohio State and Georgia are competing for, or Alabama or whoever.
No, if you start like Mendoza has turned into a thing, but I don't know that anybody anticipated it turning into this thing. And just throughout the roster, there's other examples of that, less high profile, but still other examples of that. And you just circle back to the guy's introductory press conference. Like, I don't know football coaches the way I know basketball coaches, But I can tell you, if a 60-year-old man got what amounts to the worst basketball job in the Big Ten, and then at his introductory press conference was talking about all of the great things he's going to do, and when people tried to press him on, hey, man, do you realize you're the Indiana coach, not the Ohio State coach? And, winning here has been difficult forever. His pushback on all of that was he quite literally said, Google me, which is not the type of thing I think any consultant would tell you to say out loud at your introductory press conference. It comes off as arrogant. It comes off in a lot of ways, most of them not good. But he said it. He just sort of, in the most confident, with his head tucked down, you can go back and find it. It was like he didn't want to say it, but he didn't know what else to say. These people are skeptical that I can do this job. I'm not. I don't want to say what I'm about to say, but how else to tell these people who they're looking at right now? Google me. I win. Google me. Why are you asking me if I'm going to win? Bro, I've been doing this for a long time. It is all that I do. Yes, not to quote DJ Khaled, but I'm going to win because I'm Curt Cignetti. And if that would have happened in basketball, I'm not exaggerating, to whatever extent I'm familiar with Big Ten coaches, the ones who are comfortable texting with me would have sent text and said, did you see this guy in Indiana? Like, this dude just got the worst job in our league, and thinks because he won some games at James Madison or whatever, now he's just going to run the Big Ten? Google me? They would laugh at that guy, laugh at him, mock him. And now that guy in football is the 2-time AP Coach of the Year. He's got the number 1 seed in the college football playoff. He is coaching the current Heisman Trophy winner. I would encourage anybody, go back and watch that 60 Minutes profile from Sunday. You can find it on YouTube. It's an amazing story. And I think evidence, certainly at the power conference level, that a lot of the stuff that used to matter doesn't matter anymore. Do you have somebody who, when you Google them, their track record shows that they win basically without exception?
Well, you know who does win? Bobby Lutz and Brad Soderberg have career-winning records, and they're in their 60s. Northwestern Penn State.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Hire somebody who knows how to run a program and knows how to coach football, win football games. If you give them the resources to roster build, they can write checks just like anybody else. Forever in college athletics, every time you thought about the hiring process, people would talk about relationships and recruiting ties, and has he ever recruited at this level, done it at this level? That stuff is so far down the list of things that matter right now. Do you have somebody who can run a program at any level? Do you have somebody who can win football games, develop players at any level? Because if you can do it at that level, there's some evidence now that suggests it can translate to the highest levels of the sport, because you don't need those relationships to recruit anymore. You just need money. You never hear about, in Major League Baseball, in the NBA, general managers and their, quote, relationships. That's just not a thing. People never talk about Sam Presti being amazing because he's got great relationships with the best agents in the NBA. He's great because he has a vision. He can see it before other people see it, and he knows what he's doing. The relationship stuff doesn't matter in the NBA. You don't have to have a great relationship with somebody to draft them or to sign them in free agency. Forever in college athletics, you needed that type of thing in many cases to recruit, but it's not important anymore. You need money to recruit. Hire somebody who is competent, who is great, who has a vision, and then give them the resources to do the job. That is what Indiana has done with Curt Cignetti, and the results are quite literally unbelievable. The idea that anybody could do this so quickly at a place like that, it's not something any reasonable person could have imagined, but it's real life right now.
Number 4.
Miami Dolphins are, among other things, considering a quarterback change. Have we seen the last of Tua Tagovailoa?
Yes, I think we have. Although I did see usually this stuff is like when they make these changes, like at this point in the year, especially because he's not injured, it's usually contract reasons. Like, hey, if he actually takes X amount of snaps, then we owe him this much more money or something. But apparently, like, he's already gotten all of his money this year, and I think his money is already guaranteed for next year. But, yeah, I mean, I tend to think there's going to be a lot of changes in Miami. I saw yesterday they have now lost 14 games in a row with the temperature under 40 degrees. They have also lost, like, 14 or 15 straight games to teams above 500, like on the road or just overall. So, like, you know.
Yeah, if they do change quarterbacks, it won't be the last change they make
right
that before next season starts. But Tua, I was thinking about this. He's going to have an interesting legacy. Like, for a pretty average NFL starting quarterback, like if you were to take his career, whenever it's over, now or down the road, he will just, you'll look at him and that was a guy who started in the NFL and had some good moments, had some bad moments, but was more or less average. You know, if Tom Brady's up here and the worst is down here, Tua's going to fall somewhere in the middle. And yet there will be things you just remember about him forever, whether he remembers them or not. Like, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean that. I apologize for that. Like, he, comes in the middle of a national championship game after being a backup the whole season and leads Alabama to a title. Amazing legacy. Just in
that came across my timeline the other day. Somebody put out, there's one of these SEC Stan accounts, put out like the 6-minute highlight video of that Georgia-Alabama game. And I remember I didn't really get to watch much of it because I was doing a hustle game that night. I had a hustle game that night. But you go back and watch the highlights and see all the players, like the future NFL guys that were on the field for both. Like, that game was awesome and played at a crazy high level. And that pass he threw to Devontae Smith was unreal.
It's a walk-off national
crazy. After he had just taken like a 15-yard sack and their kicker's terrible, and it's like, dude, you are in a bad spot now.
So that's a part of his story. And then, like, he's going to be the concussion guy. He's going to be the face of concussion. And so, and then all those press conferences where he seems a little absent-minded. I don't know what the right way to say it is, but there's been some incoherent press conference moments this season. And all of these things are going to be the things you think about when you think about Tua Tagovailoa. And now it seems at least at risk of losing his starting job. Like you said, there's going to be a lot of changes in Miami before next season begins, but maybe it starts under center with Tua, before the next game.
Number 5.
Terrence Crawford, the pound-for-pound boxing king, who is just coming off of the biggest victory of his career and is only 38 years old, released a message last night saying he is retiring from the sport of boxing. Do you believe him?
Most boxers do not, when they announce the retirement, do not end up retired. So, no, I don't believe him.
Yeah, so this is one of those where just based on everything I know about boxers, I don't believe him. I mean, by the way, we just saw Mike Tyson fight last year.
Yeah, right. He's like 60.
This is a thing that is interesting about boxing, whereas when you retire from football or basketball, there's usually not a path for you to come back a year later or several years later, unless you're Phillip Rivers, of course. Because in football or basketball or baseball, it's not up to you entirely. Somebody else has to decide, we want you to be a part of this thing. So an older basketball player can say, man, I know I said at the age of 38 I was never going to play again, and I meant it at the time, but now I'm 41, and I got an itch. I want to scratch it. I want to play basketball again. Okay, cool, but, like, can you get an NBA team to sign you, put you on the roster, pay you? Because if not, then you're just daydreaming. In boxing, if you are a certain caliber of name, you can always come back. You don't have to get a team to sign you. You just have to get a promoter to sell tickets to give you a guarantee, and you can walk right back into the ring. So that's the main reason these guys never retire. because they look up and somebody's like, hey, I'll give you $250,000 to go fight this person on this channel on this date. And it's like, I could use $250,000. Sure, I'll be there. So my instincts are, of course, undefeated and 38-year-old Terrence Crawford is not retiring. Like, he just, in this year, had a massive event on Netflix that made a lot of money and set him up to make a lot of money. So, of course, he's going to capitalize on that eventually. But then I started Googling and reading columns from boxing writers just in an attempt to, I don't know, be more informed about the topic than I otherwise would be. And the majority of boxing writers seem to think he really might walk away because, as Andre Ward did once upon a time, you make all your money, you got all your belts, you don't think you have anything left to prove, and you look around you. I don't know how many interviews you've seen with ex-boxers, former champions, but they can get difficult to watch sometimes. These guys come out of this sport with their full capacities. Muhammad Ali being the greatest example of that. But, I mean, you name the former boxer. When you see them when they're 55, they look like they're 70. When you see them, if they're lucky enough to get to 70, they sound like they're 170. And the thought process among boxing writers, some of them at least, is that Terrence Crawford understands this. And he will actually walk away and feel like I've made hundreds of millions of dollars and my place in the sport is cemented. I don't have to get back into a ring and take punches. I'm 38 years old. I sound and look like I'm 38 years old. And if I stop right now, I can sound and look like I'm 48 years old when I'm 48, like I'm 58 years old when I'm 58. I don't have to endure the damage that so many other people endured. I'm walking away right now. That seems to be the common opinion among boxing writers. I still say no, he fights again someday, but it is interesting to me that people who know him, like personally, think that this isn't outlandish, that the idea that he would actually walk away at the age of 38.
Well, if he doesn't need the money, like if you've taken care of your money, then you don't have to fight, Jake Paul's son in like 15 years, like, that's a lot of these guys get back into it because they do, like, they're not good with their money and they end up needing it. Like you said, like, $250,000 or $10 million or whatever it is. Like, I need that.
Like Manny Pacquiao is a great example. Every other year, it feels like you see Chris Mannix tweet something like Pacquiao's thinking about coming back, getting in the ring. And if you ask why are you doing this? It's money stuff. Like, he takes care, Manny Pacquiao does, of a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of people on the Manny Pacquiao payroll. And that was easy when you were making $20 million, $30 million, $40 million, $50 million per fight. But now you're not fighting. Where's that money coming from? Now it's time to get back in the ring. I need a paycheck. So a lot of this is money motivated. I'm not pocket watching on Terrence Crawford. I don't know what his bank account looks like, but he has made a lot of money and can still make a lot of money. Like, he's a star now. Like, people know who Bud Crawford is in a way that they didn't before the Canelo fight. And so he is, if he's actually walking away, like quite literally walking away from, theoretically, hundreds of millions of dollars. So I won't call him a liar or label him insincere. I think often in these moments, these people who say things like this, they mean it. Like, I believe he believes he's never boxing again, but I believe he will get to a point where he wants to do it again for money or other reasons. And so I don't think I've stopped seeing Terrence Crawford box. I believe I'll watch him box again, but he said yesterday that I won't. He's done. So if you were looking for Netflix to have another big boxing event, it's probably going to have to be a Jake Paul fight as opposed to a Terrence Crawford fight, because Terrence Crawford says he ain't going to do it no more. We'll see. Be back with Carryout.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
long goodbye begins. A very special evening with Journey. Final Frontier Tour. Journey. Tickets are on sale now at journeymusic.com. Your chance to say goodbye to the songs that changed our lives. Journey. Final Frontier Tour.
Grizz Nation, don't foul out on dinner plans. Hit Sticks Express in downtown Memphis instead. Fresh hibachi, steak, shrimp, sushi tacos, and yes, our legendary sake slushie to keep things cool. Order online with code STIX901, STIX901, and knock 10% off your tab. It's the perfect pick and roll for game night. Sticks Express, fast, fresh, always a slam dunk. And hey, come see us at our Collierville location too.
Watching the Grizzlies is easy with FanDuel Sports Network. If you have cable or satellite, you're all set. Find us on your channel lineup. You can also use your TV provider login to watch games on the FanDuel Sports Network app. No cable or satellite? Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network online. You can also watch on Prime Video by adding a FanDuel Sports Network subscription. Not sure where to start? Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com to learn more.
The only thing better than Saturday Night Hoops is when it comes with an exclusive Grizz hoodie. Every Saturday this season, $60 gets you a Grizzlies ticket and a limited edition Grizzlies hoodie. 4 different hoodie designs dropping across 4 Saturday games. Not sold anywhere else. Don't miss your shot to collect all 4 designs. Grab your tickets and gear up now at grizzlies.com/Saturday.
Grizzlies are on the court. Grizz Nation can help make sure everyone eats with NBA All-Star voting now through January 14th. Vote for your favorite Grizzlies every 24 hours and tell a friend to show their support. Cast your vote every day right now on grizzlies.com/all-star. You can find it at grizzlies.com/all-star now through January 14th. Let's do GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we miss today?
Breaking news from Pete Thamel at ESPN. Ohio University has fired its football coach, Brian Smith. Per the school, he violated the terms of his employment agreement by engaging in serious professional misconduct and participating in activities that reflect unfavorably on the university. These football coaches are wild, aren't they?
Crazy.
These football coaches are wild.
That sounds very similar to, yeah.
I wouldn't want to recklessly speculate.
Yeah.
But I will. I don't want to recklessly speculate, but I will if you will.
I mean, it sounds similar to what happened in Ann Arbor.
You blaming a white woman?
Well, I don't know if she's white. I don't know.
They often are.
They often. The funniest thing ever on the internet is all like the pictures of like the hot, like, Instagram models or hot, like, Twitter chicks who just post like gym photos or bikini shots of themselves. And then people just quote tweeting those with like Sharon Moore looking. They're not the funniest things on the internet right now.
They're my favorite things on the internet.
They are. And the gifs of him that'll have him like popping up from behind the bushes.
I saw a clip from a podcast, because that's all I do is watch clips of things. And it was these 2 gentlemen talking, and they submitted, I'd like to get your thoughts on this. They submitted that white women should be on a terrorist list.
I saw this too. Just for black men, though. For black men only, a designated terror, that they should be like how the United States government views ISIS and Al-Qaeda and like Al-Shabaab as like designated terrorist organizations that white women should be regarded as a terrorist organization for black men.
How much money are they costing these dudes?
Man.
How much money are they costing these dudes?
Shrum, you can't fire them. Like, you got to figure, you can't just, like, man.
It's tough. Anyway, thoughts are with Brian Smith. I hope he gets through whatever he's going through. I don't want to recklessly speculate. I will if you will.
What's today's biggest game?
Let's go to college basketball. You know what? Let's keep it inside FedEx Forum. 7 o'clock tonight, Eastern, 6 o'clock tip. Inside FedEx Forum. You can watch it on ESPN2. Number 13, Vanderbilt, is visiting Memphis. Vandy minus 9.5. Totals 159.5. How you going to act?
Tigers. Look, Tigers plus the points.
You want to sprinkle?
I think you could sprinkle a little money line if you want. You could sprinkle a little money line if you want. But I think Tigers, look, if we do know this, the Tigers, who did they lost to UNLV. They came back, respectable showing against a good Purdue team out in the Bahamas. Who did they also just recently lose to before they played Baylor?
The Tigers on the season have lost to.
They lost to somebody before Baylor.
Purdue and Wake Forest.
Was Wake Forest before Baylor?
Wake Forest was before the 3-game winning streak that culminated with a victory over Baylor. That's the one where quite literally all they had to do was miss a free throw.
Yeah.
Would have won the game.
Yeah.
But they had to make the free throw, and they lost.
Well, okay, so sorry for that. But they beat Baylor at home. They just got waxed by Louisville. Tigers show well at home. They show well at home, and so far, Penny, been good in these bounce-back spots.
John Roser says take Tigers plus the 9.5, sprinkle a little bit on the money line.
Yeah.
I like the confidence. We'll see how it goes.
And if we could do player props in Tennessee, look at some little a rope.
Okay. Let's get into it. Hey, my next guest needs no introduction with David Letterman. Season 6 has launched. Do you care about David Letterman? Were you too young for David Letterman to matter in your life?
No, I love David Letterman, but I have not watched any of his Netflix stuff. I haven't.
They're great.
I know. I've heard they're great, and I've never watched them. Yeah.
Just easy to turn on, like just Sunday afternoon. I mean, I guess you watch football on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah,
but
right.
Just put it on and just like fold clothes. It's great for that. Like, hey, I've got to put laundry up. I got to do the dishes. While I'm doing this, I'm going to watch David Letterman talk to famous people. I love him. Like actually, if it's possible to love a person I've never met, like I love David Letterman. So I've watched all of these, and season 6 dropped yesterday. 3 episodes, Michael B. Jordan, Mr. Beast, and Jason Bateman. And so, over the years, he's talked to everybody. Like, he sat down with Jay-Z. He sat down with Kanye West. He sat down with Barack Obama. Like, he sits down with anybody. And the conversations are almost always interesting / funny / compelling. So 3 episodes available right now in the new season that dropped yesterday. Michael B. Jordan, Mr. Beast, Jason Bateman. They're all about 45 minutes each. And so if you're looking for something to watch that's, good background stuff, you can find it right now on the Netflix app.
What's the best thing we've read?
Well, over at CBSSports.com, I have updated the top 25 and 1 to reflect that Tennessee beat Louisville last night in Knoxville. But I mostly wrote about, on some level, what was the biggest headline of last night, which is Darren Peterson once again did not play for Kansas. 8th missed game of the season. He's feeling like a cramping tightness situation in his quads and hamstrings. He had to leave Saturday's win over NC State with tightness. Tried to practice, according to Bill Self, on Monday, but felt it again, then got ruled out of last night's game. Easy victory over Towson. Now, Kansas doesn't play again until Monday. They get Davidson then, and then the Big 12 schedule gets underway. But this is becoming a storyline in college basketball. Will Darren Peterson ever be healthy enough to be a meaningful member of KU's basketball program in advance of him being what most people believe the number 1 pick in the 2026 NBA draft? So If you want to see about 500 words on that was written in about 3 in the morning, you can find them right now on the homepage, cbssports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
It'll be Thursday, so we'll be looking back at Grizzlies Timberwolves, looking back at Tigers Vanderbilt. Michael Wallace will join me in the first hour. I'm looking forward to it. John Roser, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, man. Always happy to. And go Tigers.
And go Tigers, go. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to try to enjoy mine. Let's meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.